Good morning. This is Monday, April 13th, 2020. I'm Stephen Wynn. This is part of the Loving the Coronavirus program, part of the greater program from my perspective, and certainly how it is being sponsored and presented is through the Healing the Heart of America.org website and mission. I'm of the opinion that it's time to heal the wounds in the heart of America, and certainly this has been a huge wound, this whole coronavirus. So, this morning's flavor of this is about the lockdown, and more specifically, when should the lockdown end? It's sort of a hot topic right now in terms of a big debate as to whether or not we can open it up, say, end of April or middle of May or who knows how long. Currently, a number of states, unless they extend it, it's scheduled to end at the end of April. And of course, I'm sure everyone is just going to, all the governors are going to just play that by ear, depending on what the appropriate thing is. But how do you feel about it? Does the idea of ending the lockdown, all the things that we've done that seem to be flattening the curve of this pandemic, does this idea seem disastrous and foolhardy? Just get in touch with those feelings. We're just stirring the pot right now. Get in touch with those feelings, or maybe you're feeling a little bit differently, that we better, at all costs, end this shutdown as soon as we possibly can. That the unintended consequences of this shutdown are devastating to our society, to our culture. Not just the economy, but millions of people out of work. I think it's now 16 or 17 million. It traditionally has a huge impact on suicides, on drug use, on drug overdoses, and of course, we don't have the money. We just keep printing money. But on the other hand, how bad will it be for our country if we get out of this lockdown too soon and we have an immediate wild expansion of the pandemic, a huge flare-up? The Spanish flu, I don't know if it's 2018 or 19, but that pandemic, it hit in the spring and then faded down, almost gone, and then came back with a vengeance. I think it was October, November. And that's where the wild death toll happened. How are we going to feel if we get off this lockdown and that comes back? And on the other hand, we could just keep going back and forth. On the other hand, in our society, we take certain risks of death. We know that if we drop the speed limit down to 20 miles an hour, we might save 25,000 lives a year. We lose, I think, 37,000 lives every year to traffic deaths. But we don't do that. So there we are. Find your feelings, or it could be about something else for you this morning. If something else is up, that's where we want to work. So now that we've done our few minutes of stirring the pot, let's move into our hearts. In this program, we move into our hearts so that we can heal from the heart. And it's not just that we heal the wounds of our heart, heal our traumas, heal our hot buttons and that sort of a thing, heal our patterns, but we also expand the capacity of the heart to love, expand the capacity of the heart to engage in all of the divine qualities of the heart: wisdom, power, compassion, freedom, guidance, intuition. We expand these qualities. And over time, I will tell you, my experience is the expansion and development of the qualities of the heart is far richer than the development of more silence, which is extraordinary in its own right. But after a while of silence, I started to wonder, is this all there is? It took a few years of silence. I think it was like 6 or 7 years. I started going, is this all there is? Is this all there is? And my experience of the expansion of the heart is just exquisitely infinite. It just seems to get richer and richer and deeper and deeper. So with that thought, let's begin by putting our hands over our heart, one on top of the other. And notice where we are. It always helps to notice that as a contrast point. How quiet, how peaceful, how loving, how present. What's our relationship to the room we're in? All these things. And then just say good morning to your heart. And just notice what happens. Can you feel your heartbeat through your hands? What happens to your state? Your presence? Your connection to the chair you're sitting on? Your connection to your body, your mind? And then just let your hands down in your lap when you're comfortable. And let's begin our practice of this very most fundamental and basic practice of connecting to our heart. It's called heart rhythm meditation, taught by I Am Heart. It connects us to every rhythm in life. Rhythm within, rhythm without. And when we live in rhythm, we live in flow. So we want to have the right posture here. That means feet flat on the floor, spine as straight as comfortably possible. But we do want to be comfortable here. We don't want to be distracted. Usually means sort of checking your head, moving it around side to side, front and back, till you get that point where there's a natural alignment of the spine. And just say good morning to your breath. Good evening if you're on the other side of the world, the other side of the pond, or in India. And just check in. How free, how easy, how full. Which nostril is more open, if either. How much love do you have for your breath, for your lungs? And now let's begin with introducing a full exhale and a full inhale. Deep, slow, rhythmic inhale, exhale. On the exhale, bring your abdominal muscles all the way back toward the spine. And then release them smoothly. And notice the full inhale that happens automatically. These steps may seem simple, and you may wonder, why don't we just, after a while, why don't I just go straight to my heartbeat? But I tell you, there's a build-up that happens here. A strengthening of your lungs, an appreciation and a love for your breathing process, a connection to your abdominal muscles, and allowing this very full inhale and exhale. And just check. Here we've been flooding our body with life force, prana, chi. What do you notice? Filled with oxygen. What's your experience? Whatever it is perfect. It's not that you need to be having certain experiences. And now let's start the formal part of Heart Rhythm Meditation, where we connect the rhythm of our heartbeat with the rhythm of our respiration, of our inhale and our exhale. Traditionally, we speak of this as 8 heartbeats on the inhale, 8 heartbeats on the exhale. But of course, whatever number is right for you, use that number. 6, 10, 12, 4. It's perfectly fine to feel your pulse in your wrist or your neck, or hold your breath and you'll start to feel your heartbeat. It will just come over time. Or simply count. That's perfectly acceptable also. But eventually the heartbeat will show up for you. Inhale to the count of 8 heartbeats. Exhale to the count of 8 heartbeats. And as we step into this very basic rhythm, we move into alignment with the beating, the pulse of the earth, this great being of the earth. We move into alignment with that being. And again, notice your experience. How deep are you? How quiet? How fully embodied do you feel? How present to your body? Would it be okay with you if you recognize your body is beingness just as much as silence is? How could it be any different? And just try this on. That what we want to do as we have taken embodiment on this plane is to infuse the body with spirit, with consciousness, with love, and allow the body to be our point of heaven on earth. a very different perspective than wanting to leave the body to go into silence. Which has its use, I totally understand. But we are here in this body for a reason. Is it okay with us if we enjoy that process of being fully embodied and fully spiritual? And the key to that is our hearts. So let's just take a few minutes of breathing into our hearts. Of course, always welcome the name of your heartbeat whenever we begin noticing the heartbeat. So just inhale into the heart directly. The count of 8, 6, 10, whatever. Right now we're doing this practice just because I love it so much. Every day I've been adding variations on heart rhythm meditation. And this week we're going to explore the 5 elements. And we'll just use the 5 elements in terms of this coronavirus, in terms of our life. So we'll start from the earth, and then we'll go to water and fire and air, and then ether or akasha or space, whatever you want to call it, on Friday. Each day we'll take one, and we'll become friendly with these divine elemental beings that are so responsible for the creation of form and creation. As we begin to know them better, we begin to realize the magnitude of their role in creation. Just keep breathing, inhale, exhale, into the heart, out of the heart. If you want to do the swinging breath, in from the back, out to the front, in from the front, out to the back, feel free to do that. It's not really a practice we're doing here, but you're always the master here. In the Vedic tradition, they talk about the 8 prakritis, the 8-fold, the 8 qualities, the 8 forces responsible for creation. You have the mind, you have the intellect, you have the ego, and you have the 5 elements. Modern spirituality tends to focus on the mind, the intellect, and the ego. But the heart, with the 4 chambers of the heart, corresponding to the 4 elements, and the 5th corresponds to the sac, the periocardial sac surrounding the heart, creating a space around the other 4 elements. It's an incredible process of exploration of our hearts to expand and develop these elements. You could say there's a mind, the intellect, the ego, and the heart that are responsible for creation. So let's move into the excuse me. Let's move into the earth element now. Earth elemental breathing practice. There's 5 different breathing practices. We'll go through them. Depending on which element we use, the nose or the mouth, or a combination of the two. For the earth element, we'll continue using only the nose breathing, in and out through the nostrils. But the intention is different, and the movement of energy is different. So what I want you to do is fully exhale your energy down. Take it down from the heart and move it down through your legs, through your feet, and down in towards the center of the earth. You may in the beginning only get a few inches or a few feet. That's okay. Or even just getting to your feet will be a huge feat for many people. So inhale through the nose. When we inhale, pull the energy up from the center of the earth to the bottom of the feet, up through our legs, into our heart, and then exhale. And inhale energy in from the center of the earth, or as far down as you go, up through the feet, through the legs, up through the torso, with the spine even, into the heart, and then back down. Exhaling on the way down, pouring the energy down through the feet, down to the center of the earth. Inhaling, bringing the energy back up. All the while, 8 heartbeats in, 8 heartbeats out. Staying connected always to our heart. The energy extends from the heart. We don't lose the heart. And I know in the beginning, whenever we learn something new, the mind gets engaged and we tend to lose the heart. It's okay. Just come back to it. We don't beat ourselves up for that. We just go, oh, back to the heartbeat. And just begin to notice. You'll start to notice the energy starts as a stream of energy, but you may notice that there becomes a surge of energy, of earth energy, moving up through the earth, filling the body. For me, I feel the stream of energy and I feel the surge also. Slightly different qualities. Exhale all the way down. It's okay to lead with your imagination. Sometimes we do that and the energy begins to follow. It becomes real enough. Now what happens as we do this earth element more and more is that we begin to internalize into our hearts the divine qualities of the earth element. The earth is stable. So you may find, by the way, at a certain point, that this energy moves out wider, almost as though, our head is sticking out of a mound of energy. And our energy is spreading out wide, far and wide, as this value of stability builds up within us. And just ask, as a way of setting an intention, would it be okay with us if we became a great source of stability in our lives and in the lives of all those around us? If we become the rocks, the big rock of creation that our world relies on, keep pulling energy up and down, or up from the earth and out to the side is another pattern that could happen here. Spreading the earth energy out. Then on the inhale, go back down to the center of the earth. Pull it up. Another part of the divine qualities of the earth is persistence. Just a steadfast steadiness of direction in time and space toward the fulfillment of our purpose. Inhale, bring that earth energy up. Exhale it, maybe spread it out some more. Quite often people associate a yellowish brown color, the color of the earth, to this experience. Could we allow ourselves to imbibe these qualities of stability, persistence, strength, power, patience? There's a saying in India, as patient as the earth. Could we allow ourselves this vast, patient, solid persistence as a way of walking through our lives? And just notice your experience here. What do you experience? What's the texture? Can you notice a difference of experience here compared to when we stretch our hearts out to the vastness and expand into the fullness of the universe? Just notice the different flavor of our energy body, of our energetic body, of our consciousness. Inhale, bring the energy up. Exhale, spread it out as if we have become a mountain. And as this mountain of stability, could we shift our focus now and invite this coronavirus, this COVID-19 virus, to come before us? Could we welcome it into this mountain of earth energy we have become? The way the earth purifies is by composting. It takes the toxins that we dump into it and all the billions and trillions of microbes and beasts and cells, single-celled animals, creatures that are inside the earth, part of the earth, begin to do their magic and absorb and transform, compost. Could we welcome this COVID-19 virus into this vastness of our earth energy, into the vastness of the earth? And could we ask this being, let's personify this energy, this intelligence of the earth, for its assistance in transforming this COVID-19 virus into that which is most useful, most perfect, most divine. And again, welcome this virus in. Check to see if you have any fear of this virus. We actually want to pull it all the way into our hearts. When we do this with love, it's like an energetic vaccination, like a homeopathic vaccination. Could we allow ourselves to become friends with this universal energy of the COVID-19 virus, all the while being protected by the vast power and strength of this earth element? And could we thank this COVID-19 virus for coming and being with us this morning? And check to see if you have any resistance to this, any fear. If so, could you just allow the fear to be there? Does the fear keep you healthy? I think we all know by now that fear does exactly the opposite of that. So could we welcome that fear up, love it, be with it, let it go, let it transform into safety. That's a big quality of the earth element, safety. Could we allow the earth to be a safe place for us to live as we attune to this earth element? Could we allow even more of this divine quality of safety to fill our being and feel the stability of the earth rising up, filling our hearts, filling our bodies, filling our minds? Would it be okay for us, for our minds to become stable, wide, balanced, purified, persistent, steadfast? And now, from this place of great presence of earth, filled with the earth, let's just ask, let's bring back up the concerns and fears and frustrations that we have about when does the lockdown end? And first I'd ask you to check for any energies that come up with that question, just so you can be with them, love them. And ask your mind if it knows the exact date and time that the coronavirus lockdown should end. I'm guessing it does not. So could we all let go of trying to figure out when it should end? And could we let go of that trying to figure it out some more? And more? Could we allow ourselves to see that it's not really our decision? We can influence it perhaps a little, perhaps a lot even. But for the most part, someone else will make that decision. Could we let them have that authority? Because clearly, we don't have that authority. We have the authority to move into our hearts. And from the very deep level of our hearts, set the intention for what we would like to see happen. And let that go. Could we allow ourselves to see that there may not be a perfect answer as to when the lockdown ends? And there can be very many, many valid perspectives. Check to see if you have some resistance to Donald Trump being the one who makes the final call on this, encouraging the governors to end the lockdown, or not. Check to see your reaction there. Are you okay with that? And if not, could you welcome up that energy? Because I think we all know the reality is that right now, he's the president. He listens to all of his advisors, but ultimately he's going to make that call. Could you welcome up all of your resistance to Donald Trump? Does that resistance help him make better decisions? Does it make you feel better? Is Donald Trump going to make better decisions when we hate him or when we love him? which will bring him to that place of quietness where he can truly reflect the divine will. Again, just be with whatever energy is being stirred up here. And let's discriminate some more. The other big practical reality is all the governors are going to do exactly what their divine intention, their divine intuition tells them to do. So could we let go of giving President Trump our power by allowing the governors to make this decision? Check to see if that brings you more peace. And if you live in a state where you don't trust the governor, could you welcome that feeling up? And, keep the feeling if you feel it's useful, always. I'm going to assume that it's not a pleasant feeling, and that it's okay to be with it, and let it float to the surface of your life as you allow deep peace to fill your heart. And to discriminate once more, can you see that ultimately each one of us has the complete power of how we behave, how safe we stay in terms of what we do? I know the environment impacts us, there's no question. But we have ultimate power over our feeling world, our emotional bodies. We can engage in healthy practices. We can love ourselves and love the virus, and create our own bubble of reality. Could we allow ourselves to be the ultimate authority in our lives? Check to see if that brings up any fear. Oh, I might blow it. Who am I to be the ultimate authority in my life? I want someone else to be that authority. Whatever resistance we have to that, could you just let that go? The deep truth is, we, including our higher selves, are the ultimate authority in our lives and in creation. Our heart is the center point of creation. True for each person. Could you allow yourself to rest in your heart with this understanding? And if it brings up reaction, let that go. Mostly, I think by now, we are sitting in peace in our hearts. Peace. 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 let's take that as a good ending point for this meditation. Connect to your hearts, to your heartbeat. Connect to your feet. And just notice your experience right now. Open your eyes when you're ready. Take a look around the room. Would it be okay with us if we walked through our day in peace, fearless, powerful? So this ends the formal part of our morning, our meditation. And now we begin working one-on-one with anyone who has a gain they want to share, or a question, or has some energy up they'd like to work on. I remember now, in the course last September, I started telling stories after the meditation just because people are settled and don't want to speak up right away. So I have a very short story. I mention every morning that as we do heart rhythm meditation, we move into the rhythm with creation. So this is a story about rhythm. I got it from Peran and Susanna Bear. So the story goes that, I'm pretty sure it was a Sufi master, decided to, walk to the big city, half day's walk away or something like that. Walked to the city, saw the wonders of the city, saw the beauty of the city, the wide boulevards, the beautiful buildings, the gardens, the incredible markets and all that sort of a thing, and walked back and started talking about all this to his students. And one of the students goes, "I have to see this. I have to see this." So he asked for permission. The master says, "Sure, of course, go see the city." So he walks over there eagerly, and suddenly he gets bumped, he gets jostled in the crowds, he gets pickpocketed. Nothing goes right for him. And he's, seeing the dirt and the squalor and the poverty. And he gets out of there as fast as he can. Then he comes back and he tells his experience to the master. The master goes, he said, "You were not walking in the same rhythm that I was walking. So you had the experience that matched your rhythm." And that's why it's so important that we move into rhythm with our hearts, with nature, with our beingness. Nice story, isn't it?